We tend to think of typhoons like a bowling ball hitting pins, right? Like if it misses your town, you breathe a sigh of relief. You think you've dodged a bullet.
Yeah, you really do.
Right. But a massive storm is actually more like dropping a boulder into a rushing river. It radically redirects all the currents around it. Welcome to the deep dive! Your mission today is unpacking exactly how an invisible storm is putting half a country on high alert.
A massive chunk of the country, honestly.
Yeah, we are looking at severe weather warnings blanketing 47 provinces in Thailand for the July 28th to the 30th window.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this. How is it that so much of the country is facing extreme conditions all at once when the main storm, Typhoon Dolfin, isn't even making landfall there?
Well, it all comes down to that boulder in a river effect you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Dolphin isn't hitting Thailand directly, but as it moves, it acts like a massive atmospheric vacuum.
A vacuum, like pulling things in.
Yeah, exactly. It violently alters the regional airflows,
Yeah.
which in turn supercharges a monsoon trough that's draped across northern and northeastern Thailand.
Wait, if Dolphin is pulling air toward itself, shouldn't it be pulling moisture away from Thailand? Like leaving things relatively dry?
I mean, you think so, right? It makes logical sense. But because of exactly where the storm is positioned, that vacuum effect is actually dragging a strong southwest monsoon straight across the Andaman Sea.
Oh, wow.
Right across the Gulf of Thailand, too, pulling it right over the mainland. And when that moisture collides with the monsoon trough, things get incredibly intense.
Okay, so a monsoon trough. We hear that meteorological term a lot on the news, but what is it actually doing up in the sky?
Think of it like a meteorological fault line. It is this band of low pressure where opposing winds basically just converge. They crash into each other and have nowhere to go but up.
Got it.
So they push massive amounts of moist ocean air high into the atmosphere, where it rapidly cools and comes crashing back down as torrential rain.
Okay, so it's like a massive truck speeding past you on the highway. It doesn't actually hit you, but the wind and the wake absolutely drench you anyway.
That is a perfect analogy. And in this case, what's fascinating here is that the splash is being scooped straight out of the Indian Ocean.
Geez, that is a lot of water.
Yeah. These overlapping systems are acting like giant engines. They pull ocean water and dump it inland, which creates immense, highly localized risks without a direct typhoon strike.
Which brings us to where that water is actually landing for you on the ground. The Northeast seems to be taking the absolute brunt of this. Why them specifically?
It is all about geography, really. The Northeast is sitting right under the most active part of that monsoon trough we just talked about.
Right.
They're looking at like 80% rain coverage, facing very heavy rainfall. The eastern region is also right in the crosshairs because it's the first line of land absorbing that incoming southwest monsoon.
Let's lay out the specifics for anyone tracking the red zones. For July 29th in the Northeast, the critical areas are Nong Khai, Buang Khan, and Udon Thani.
Exactly. And over in the east, it's Rayong and Chanthaburi.
And we can't forget down South Ranong is a major risk area, and that threat actually remains prime straight into July 30th.
Yes, and the risk here isn't just getting wet, it's what happens to the actual terrain.
Because the ground in these areas is already dealing with seasonal rains, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
When you dump this much concentrated water on top, the soil simply can't act like a sponge anymore.
It just overflows.
Yeah, that saturation is the exact mechanism behind sudden flash floods. And because of the steep geography in the north, that runoff funnels into valleys. It picks up speed, mud, debris, and turns into terrifying forest runoffs almost instantly.
That is genuinely scary. So for anyone in those specific warning zones, how should they actually be preparing for floods like this?
Well, the first thing is having a go bag ready with essentials, documents, medications, maybe some cash.
Things you can grab in seconds.
Exactly. And you need to figure out your local elevation. Like if you are in a low-lying valley, you have to map out your fastest route to higher ground before the water starts rising. Do not wait for it to reach your door.
Right, because once it's moving, it is way too late.
Right.
And all of that displaced water has to go somewhere. It is rushing off the saturated land and dumping right back into the Gulf and the Andaman Sea.
Which is a huge problem.
Yeah. That brings us to the second half of this threat, what is happening out on the water. The maritime conditions in the upper Andaman Sea are just brutal right now.
They really are. The baseline wave heights are hitting 2 to 3 meters.
Wow, that is tense.
Yeah, but because those localized storm cells whip the surface winds into a frenzy, anytime a thunderstorm hits, those waves are spiking to well over 3 meters.
So, what does this all mean for you listening? I guess it means the whole dodging a bullet mentality with storms is fundamentally flawed.
Oh, absolutely.
That speeding truck still creates a massive, dangerous wake.
A wake that requires you to stay highly vigilant regarding flash floods and ocean swells over the next 48 hours. I mean, just because you can't see the typhoon doesn't mean you are clear of its power.
It really leaves you with a wild thought to ponder. How much of our daily local weather is secretly being dictated by extreme, invisible systems churning away hundreds of miles out in the ocean?
It is kind of mind-blowing to think about.
It really is. You might not see the storm, but it definitely feels you.